Hello, I'm Jeff Evans. Some of you might know me as a beer writer. I've been writing about beer for more than 30 years now. My books include So You Want to Be a Beer Expert and several editions of a good bottled beer guide. Really pleased to be invited to introduce one of the beers at this virtual Cheltenham Craft Beer Festival this weekend. But before I get into the beer, I just want to say a big thank you to Lee Norwood and all the team for making this happen in the first place, for making sure that the Samaritans in Cheltenham don't lose out because there isn't any real life beer festival this year, and for pulling this all together in very quick time and against some very steep odds, as we all know at the moment. Now, the beer I've been asked to introduce to you today comes from Bristol, and it's a beer called Space Hardware, and it comes from Arbor Ales. In style, it's a New England IPA, and it's 6.6% ABV. Now, the New England IPA style is known for a few things. First of all, it's known for being hazy in appearance, and the Arbor Ales beer certainly does that. Very cloudy in appearance. Then it's also full of hops, full of American hops and New World hops, full of fruity flavours, but not particularly bitter. So we'll see how this beer measures up to those criteria. First of all, the haziness, yes, we've got that. What about the aroma? Lots of big fruity hops, tropical fruit, stone fruit, citrus fruit, a little bit of sort of oily, resiny, earthy pininess too as well from those hops. They use 4 different hops in this beer. They are Equinaut, Simcoe and Mosaic from America, and 1 hop from Australia, which is Galaxy, and all those hops are known for their very fruity profile. You can definitely tell it in the aroma. Not much malt character in that aroma because there are no dark malts in it. There's no sort of coffee, chocolate flavour, that sort of thing coming through. It's a very sort of delicate, creamy sort of cereal note. Now, to get that haze in the beer, they don't just not filter it, they don't just not fine it. They actually deliberately try and create some haze in this beer. So the proteins that are from the cereals and the proteins from the hops and the yeast are carried over into the beer to give that effect. Now, the cereal base for this beer, as well as barley malt, they use a little bit of wheat, and they also use oats, lots of oats. And anyone who's drank a beer with oats in before will know that that sort of gives a creamy mouthfeel to the beer and even a little bit of sweetness, and of course some haze. In the taste, again, it fulfills those New England IPA characteristics. It's got a creamy mouthfeel, nice, rich, smooth mouthfeel. Loads of hop flavour. Those hops are really shining through. Big citrus fruit, tropical fruit, stone fruit. Some of that piney resin I was talking about. But again, the hops are not too bitter. And the reason that they're not too bitter is that the brewers are quite clever with this. Instead of throwing all the hops in early into the copper and extracting a lot of bitterness from those hops, they add them very late. And in this case, at Arbor Ales, what they do is they add hops during the fermentation process and also after fermentation. They dry hop the beer after fermentation. And that means the hop character goes in very late, and of course stays with the beer right way through into the can and into your glass too. Loads of juicy hop flavour, but without so much bitterness. The finish is nice too. It's got that creamy mouthfeel lingering. It's slowly getting more bitter, but there's some sweetness there to start with. And then those hops really take over, big and fruity and tangy. Now, when I've drunk New England IPAs before, I've sometimes been disappointed because they are rather cloying in the finish. Because maybe they are too creamy, they are too sweet, maybe the hops are just too intense. But I think Arbor Ales have got this one just about right. It's very drinkable. It's got a little bit of dryness to it as well, which is always a great characteristic in a beer because it makes you want to go back and order another glass. So there we are. Really nice beer. Space Hardware, New England IPA, 6.6% from Arbor Ales. Just bear in mind that strength as you continue drinking your way through this virtual beer festival evening.